Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sue Allen Clayton, founder of the Solopreneur Academy, and welcome to June's Masterclass. And today I'm really happy to have Gillian Whitney with us. Hello, Gillian. One of my favorite people in the world. And Gillian is a partner in Launch for Life, and she has been a guest expert several times. So today we're talking about something that's a little different. And that is where to host videos, specifically between YouTube and Vimeo. And I said this morning when I did my Facebook Live, it's not the sexiest topic for sure, but it's kind of like, you have to do video. It's like buying a car. You're so excited to have a car, and then you get it home and realize, well, I don't have a garage, or I don't have on-street parking.
Yep.
And it's kind of like that with video, that we're all excited about doing video and we know how to use it, but where do we park our stuff? So I'm really excited that you're going to be talking to us about that today. And I just wanted you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll move ahead.
Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Gillian Whitney. I'm with Launch for Life, and I am a marketing coach and consultant. And my motto is that I truly believe that marketing should be easy peasy, because I don't think you should have to be a rocket scientist to market your business. So I've often found that nobody will ever complain if you make something simple. And so that's what I try to do. And actually, this is why I actually came up with this topic, because I find for the most part, people make assumptions that we should all know stuff. And I look around and I'm like, I don't know this. Why do you assume that I know this? And I feel that so many times we're intimidated to raise our hand and say, I don't get it. And I actually had a client who got really excited about doing video a couple months ago. And then all of a sudden he was like, okay, so how do I put videos in newsletters? Do I just paste it in? Like, how do I do this? And I said, well, no, you have to have it hosted somewhere. And he's like, well, I'm using MailChimp. Can't we just upload it to MailChimp? And I said, no. And he says, it's got a little video thing. And I said, but it still has to be hosted somewhere. And he said, I don't know what that means. So I figured if he didn't know what that means, a lot of other people don't know what that means. And at one time, I didn't know what that means. So this is perfectly okay. So for instance, with MailChimp, it wants you to host it in either YouTube or Vimeo, which that's why I'm doing this today, because I figured, how do you figure out which one you should be using, YouTube or Vimeo? And like, what's the deal with both? Are they the same? Are they different? Whatever. So that's why I wanted to do this, so that people would maybe take a step back and realize we go to a lot of trouble to make videos. Now we got to figure out what to do with them, because they can't just sit on your computer. They got to be shared with the world. And that's actually, somebody asked me that once. They said, can't I just share it from my computer to the world? And it was just like, no, because your computer is on the internet, but it's not, you don't want to share files directly from your computer. So anyways, that's why I'm doing it. It's a micro topic, but I think it's an important topic. And I guarantee, Sue, by the end of this, I want you to tell me if you learned at least one new thing, because I really do guarantee that you're going to learn something and you're going to say, I did not know that, by the end of this talk.
I will keep.
Does that sound good?
I will tell you. Absolutely.
Okay. Good. I think we're good to go. And I can still see you at the top corner there. Okay, super. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So we're doing YouTube versus Vimeo. Which one is best for hosting your marketing videos? So what is video hosting and why is it so important in the first place? And one of the things we talked about a few minutes ago is that it's really important that we go to all the time, our blood, sweat, and tears to make videos, but afterwards we have to figure out, where do those videos need to live? And there's lots of reasons why you have to figure this out, but essentially you want to get your videos out into the world, and video hosting is one of those vehicles that's going to allow you to do that. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is, one of the reasons why I became looking for video hosting in the first place. And essentially, you start getting video files and they're really, really big. And I hate megabytes and kilobytes and all that sort of stuff because sometimes we don't really understand what those mean. So I thought I would put this into a perspective that we'd understand. So we all know what a Zoom call is. We're on a Zoom call right now, and a 40-minute Zoom call is kind of on average what I do. A 40-minute Zoom call is 133 megabytes. Now, in comparison, a Word document, a 500-page Word document is only 1 megabyte. So can you see how very, very quickly these videos can like take over your computer? And what happened with Launch for Life is we do a lot of Zooming. We do a lot of Zooming, Janet and I, and all of a sudden one day I got a message that my computer was getting full, and I had to figure out, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to put all these videos that I had? And I wasn't even sharing videos with the world. I just had tons of videos, and I had to figure out, where do I put these videos, which is what got me to look at video hosting in the first place. And so that was the impetus for me. Videos are big and you can't always store them on your computer. So a lot of people, what they want to do is they make a video, and maybe they're not necessarily thinking about storage like I am, but they're thinking about, okay, I've made this video and I want to put it out there on social media. So you make a cute little video, you upload it to Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that. But the problem is those videos have a very short life, which means that after about 24 hours, nobody's really seeing your videos unless they go to your Facebook group or your Facebook page. But for most part, we're all in the timeline, right? We go on to Facebook, we're like zooming through the timeline. If we don't ever think to go to your group, to go to your page, we're never going to see that video again. And it's kind of not a good place to store videos. It's, you know, it's okay, but it's really not the answer. So social media, it's not the answer for video storage. So then another problem that we have is uploading your video to websites. Now, I used to do web development. It's kind of something that I moved away from. And I was one of the guilty people that thought, oh, if I want a video on a website, I'll just upload it. I'll just upload it. Why not, right? Then I found out as I began my journey in marketing that for SEO, this is the worst thing in the world. And the reason why it's the worst thing is, number one, many different web hosts actually have in their terms of service, you're not even supposed to put videos on your website. It's a drag on the servers. And most of us who have WordPress websites, we're doing what's called shared hosting. So if we kind of take up all that bandwidth, it's against the terms and services. So I think it was GoDaddy that actually doesn't like doing that. But there's also another consequence. If you have native video on your website, it kind of sucks on your bandwidth, and it takes a long time to load that video. If you've ever done anything with SEO, you even know, like, one graphic can really take a long time for your website to render when people come to visit it. So if you have a native uploaded video, it can take forever for that. And you know what happens? After about 5 seconds, people are like out of there. So you don't want to do that. And then the second thing is that it won't necessarily look good on all devices. So you could have it looking really great on a computer or a laptop, but if somebody was to look at that on a phone, it doesn't resize properly. So native uploading to a website is also not a good idea. So then those are some of the reasons why you want to have a video host. So when you start looking at video hosting, you kind of want to look at the basics. You want to find something that's a good place to store your videos, which is what I had in the beginning. It's a good place that will allow you to display your videos somewhere else, like on a website. You want to be able to have a snippet of code that you can paste somewhere else, or even to just share the link. So if you're on social media, I do a lot of stuff in LinkedIn, and I'll share a URL to Vimeo and things like that. So you want to be able to share the URL as well. So those are sort of the basics we look for with video hosting. So there's a lot of options out there. There's YouTube and Vimeo, and there's Wistia, and there's Vidyard, and kind of it goes on and on and on. There's a lot of different players. But for the most part, I really want to just focus on sort of the two biggest contenders, and those contenders are YouTube and Vimeo. So again, I wanted to kind of niche it down and just say, I don't want to go through everybody. I'm just going to go through two. The other ones get honorable mentions. Vidyard and Wistia, I'd say if you don't want to look at YouTube and Vimeo, those are the other ones. But we're going to focus on YouTube and Vimeo today. So let's start off with YouTube. So amazingly, YouTube has only been around since 2005. And yet, you think about that, that's only 15 years. And you just kind of go, I don't even remember what life was like before YouTube. Like it's just such a normal part of our day of like, oh, the toilet spoke. I'll just see if there's a YouTube on it. It's like nobody even thinks about it. So just a little bit of history, because I'm a bit of a nerd and I always like to kind of go get the backstory. So YouTube is kind of interesting in that it was actually founded by these guys at PayPal. They were like 3 employees of PayPal, and they just kind of did it as a little side project, and just kind of one of these typical 3 guys in a garage make a YouTube thing. And the very, very first YouTube is still out there, and it's called Me at the Zoo. And it's by one of the guys, and it's an 18-second YouTube. And, now look at the number of views, Sue. You see, it's like,
97 million.
Yeah, 97. It's just a
97 billion.
97 billion
yeah.
views. Which is just amazing. And it's this little 18-second video, so kind of fun. And the interesting thing is, a year after YouTube came on the scene, Google purchased them. And that's kind of when the magic happened. Then they really, really took off. And they now have 2 billion users. They have 100 billion hours of video is uploaded. It's just phenomenal. YouTube is in multiple languages, multiple countries. Huge success story is YouTube. So quite amazing. So then the other contender is also amazingly founded 6 months earlier than YouTube. So Vimeo's kind of been around about the same amount of time. It was founded by 2 developers, web developers. And again, it was a little side project of these guys who had this website called College Humor. And it was just, they wanted to have a way to share funny little Saturday Night Live kind of silly humor videos. And that's kind of the impetus for Vimeo. And they actually came out before YouTube. So it's always kind of interesting. Like you think of Mac and Windows, how these things all kind of happen at the same time. So the video hosting has the same story. So what's interesting with Vimeo is that once Google bought YouTube, these guys here kind of went, I think it's time to shift our focus. And they decided that they would be a competitor to YouTube because of Google. But then they very quickly realized there was just no way to catch up. It was like Google is a huge entity. You couldn't compete. So they did a little bit of a shift, and they said, okay, let's focus on curated content and HD quality videos. So they kind of went for a different thing. And at that time, YouTube was not really good quality videos. So these guys kind of went for the quality, and YouTube went for the quantity. So kind of an interesting shift. So even today, they have 240 million active monthly users. That's nothing compared to YouTube, but it's probably bigger than all the other web hosting out there, which kind of makes them number 2. Now, something really exciting happened to Vimeo in 2019, and my little thing's covering it up. And they bought a company called Magisto. And Magisto is an AI is an artificial intelligence. And that I'm going to talk about them later, but I just want you to remember we got to talk about them at the end because this is actually a game changer and is really, really important. So I want to make sure I talk about that. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to meet the contenders, and I just want to do a quick little tour. I'm going to show you my YouTube channel, Vimeo, only because I don't like to make the assumptions that like, oh yeah, everybody's seen YouTube, everybody's seen Vimeo. I just want to very, very quickly show mine so that we're on the same page. So let's just go to YouTube first. So I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel and very, very quickly stop the sound. And so basically when you come to YouTube, you see, I always say it looks like a mini website. You come here and you see that it's got links and, you know, can go to your social media, you can go to your email, you can do all sorts of different things. People can subscribe. And then I have on our YouTube channel, we have a trailer, and then we have what's called playlists. And a lot of people do this where they set up playlists so that you can take all your videos. I think I have like 360 videos or something. So it's a way of kind of pulling your videos and putting them into like-minded cabinets. So, you know, we have easy peasy is our motto. So we like to do everything easy peasy. So we have our social media videos, our SEO videos, so on and so on. So I just wanted to kind of give you an overview. That's what a typical YouTube channel looks like. You see the number of subscribers. We're small potatoes. We only have 166 subscribers, but nothing like your daughter, Sue. But you know, it's still. Remember that I only have 166 subscribers because this will be important later. So now let's go back and I'm going to look at Vimeo. So I'll just do vimeo.com and then Launch for Life. And here is my Vimeo channel. So kind of looks somewhat similar in that you come in, I've got a trailer on this one, so it's the same sort of deal. You see that it's Launch for Life. You see that you can have followers and likes and the number of videos. And then here are the different videos that I put in Vimeo, which again, I could put them in collections, but I haven't done that. But I just wanted everybody to sort of have a start and see, okay, this is what a Vimeo site looks like, and this is what a YouTube site looks like. So now that we've had that, we've got a good frame of reference. I'm gonna move along. So the first thing, when you compare YouTube to Vimeo, the first thing that I want to talk about is money, because that's probably, you know, small business owners, solopreneurs, we're always thinking about, okay, show me the money. How cheap is this? How expensive it is? YouTube, of course, the biggest draw with YouTube is it's free. It's absolutely free. You don't have to spend a dime on YouTube to get started. Actually, I've never spent, I don't even know if you have to spend any money to do YouTube. It is free every step of the way. So that's wonderful. Now with Vimeo, they're kind of like one of those tricky places where there's actually a Vimeo basic plan, which is free. And you kind of have to hunt around when you go to the Vimeo website. You have to actually click where it says Vimeo basic if you want to get started for free. But other than that, then you see that they have different plans that are in tiers. So, you know, you start off with $7 a month, and then you go up to Pro, and then you go to Business, and then you go to Premium, all these different plans. Now, I started on Vimeo Basic. I started on the free plan. I am now on the Pro plan. And I have to tell you that they've made some changes. I'm not exactly when they made this change, but now the free plan is not for commercial use. And oh my goodness, they mean it. If you have any kind of business at all, you will be thrown out. Their terms of service are really, really strict. The only people who can get away with having a free plan would be nonprofits and artists. For some reason, artists get a go ahead. So if you have any artists in your Solopreneur Academy, Sue, they can have a free Vimeo plan, but the rest of us, no, we have to pay to play. So that's sort of the first bit. You do, you know, free is always much better. So then storage, this is the one that drew me in. And with YouTube, storage is unlimited. You can store as many videos as you want. Right now, I think I said I have 360 plus videos. So if you kind of go back and do the math of like what a typical video is, and I can tell you 40 minutes is not necessarily typical for me. When Janet and I have team meetings, oftentimes we'll meet for like 90 minutes. So you can see that's a significant amount of space. Whereas in Vimeo, you see that, you know, you do get some storage on the free plan, but let's just talk about the actual premium ones, because I think most of us in the group are going to have to pay to play to be on Vimeo. And you can see that, you know, it's quite nice. Like you could start off on the plus with the 5 GB per week, and what happens is that kind of refreshes each week. So it's like you've got your 5 GB, and if you're done, it'll just tell you you've either got to wait or you got to upgrade. So oftentimes you're just waiting another day and then the week's going to reset. So, you know, you can go a long time on the plus plan or the pro plan, and you're going to be perfectly fine. So I think it's actually quite generous that they have for their storage here. So the next bit would be privacy. And this is really important because, especially if you're talking about storing your videos, you don't necessarily want the whole world to be able to see your videos. So with us, I had tons and tons of Launch for Life team meetings that I wanted up there. We record every Zoom call with all of our clients, and I wanted a place to store those videos as well. And I don't want my client meetings to ever be, you know, forward facing to the public. I like to always protect people's rights. And so the nice thing about YouTube is they do have different privacy settings. Public means everyone in the world can see it. Unlisted means that people can view the video if you give them a link. It's not searchable, so no one will ever find it. But if you were to share that link with someone else, that somebody else could watch your videos as well. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of private, but not quite. It's kind of like in the middle. Now, the third level is private, and I did use that in the beginning, but I will warn everybody that it's a caution to use that, because what you have to do is you have to actually designate the people that you want to be allowed to watch that video. So you could give it to a client and say, okay, only you can view it, and then I put your email address in there. Here's where the caution happens. They have to be a Google. They have to have a Gmail address. If they don't have a Google account, they can't, it doesn't matter. They can't access it. So I had that happen to me about 3 times. I gave, you know, private videos to people. Then I found out they didn't have Google accounts. I didn't want to force people to have Google accounts. So I primarily just use the unlisted, or I use the public. So that's how I do privacy. Now with Vimeo, oh my gosh, they have so many options. You can password protect videos. You can have videos only to me, that only I can see them. I could set all my videos for just you to see them. And there's none of this, you have to have a Google account or anything like that. You can have privacy at a domain level. So that means that you could have all of your, like say for instance, with your membership site, Sue, that could be the domain, and that's the privacy settings, which means your videos could only be viewed by your domain. And then that way you never have to worry about anybody stealing your videos and putting them anywhere else, because Vimeo will lock it out. So I think that's actually pretty exciting to have that. So in my opinion, Vimeo wins on that point. So let's talk about statistics. And I know everybody's like, statistics is gross, but I actually think statistics is really important for marketers. And I think it's important for non-marketers. I think statistics and analytics, they give us an idea of where we are and where we're going, and it allows us to measure our effectiveness. And so I love YouTube in terms of the analytics that they provide on their YouTube channel. Actually will blow your mind. You can see ages, you can see male, female, traffic sources, where are people coming from, how long are they watching your videos, you know, which videos are they watching, how many times was the video viewed. And this stuff is really good because you can actually go through and start to say, you know what, I thought everybody would like this video and it's not getting any views, and yet in actuality this is the one that's happening. And I'll tell you a quick little story. When we first got into YouTube, we were strictly using it for storage purposes. We weren't, you know, I didn't even think we had anything worth doing videos about. You know, it was just Janet and I having meetings, and it's like, it's pretty dull. Nobody's going to want to watch our meetings. So I was strictly using YouTube as a storage library. And then one day I made a video, which is this one down here, Raindrop.io bookmarking app. And it's because I wanted Janet to watch this video because I wanted us to be using it. And it's actually an incredible little program that you can have. It doesn't cost anything. It's a free internet app. And what it does is it allows you to bookmark any website that you go to on the internet. And then you can access those bookmarks from any browser. So Chrome, Firefox, Safari, you can get them from your iPad, you can get them from your iPhone. It doesn't matter. Wherever you go, those bookmarks will go with you. And you can share, you can invite people to come in and view your bookmarks. So you can share a folder with people. So it's a great way to collaborate and share bookmarks with people. So I wanted to teach Janet how to use this. So I made this like little video, and it was just a little screen camera thing using Camtasia. And then I uploaded it to YouTube, and I was in a hurry. And instead of making it unlisted, I made it public. And I forgot all about it. I gave Janet the URL. She looked at it. We started using it. And I just kind of like never even thought about it. And then a couple months later, I came back and I was doing some stuff in YouTube, and all of a sudden I saw that that raindrop video had like something like 1,000 views. And I went, how many times does Janet watch this? I was just laughing. And then I went and I had a look, and I realized it wasn't Janet watching it 1,000 times. People had found it, had just done a search and somehow stumbled upon my video. And that was like a light bulb moment, because I went, wow, if 1,000 people found my video, maybe I should be putting videos on purpose for people to find. And that's when I began to see the power of YouTube, of being this place of traffic that will come and get to know you and like you and trust you. So that was kind of my exciting story with that one. And of course, since then, we've now gone, that one little video is now had 9,000 views. So I think that's kind of exciting. Now, what's interesting is I had a thing about maybe a year and a half ago where I had what was called the Facebook white screen of death, where one day I went to log into Facebook and all I saw was like a complete white screen. It was absolutely horrible. And so what I did was I went, oh my gosh, how do I fix this? So being a Google goddess, I Googled it, found the answer. After a couple of days, I solved it. And then afterwards, I thought, you know, that was kind of awful to be locked out of Facebook for 3 days. Maybe I'll make just a little how-to and I'll throw it up on my YouTube channel. So I don't even know if I like put my hair up or, you know, did my makeup or anything. I just made this video. I didn't script it. I just went in, did it, you know, put it up. And now that crazy video is my most popular video out of all of my videos on my entire channel. So that one video has had 16,000 views. So it just goes to show you, the video that you would like people to see, they don't necessarily watch, but the ones that you do, they just kind of go gangbusters. Okay, so this to me is the most important part of the YouTube Vimeo thing. And that's about SEO, because at the end of the day, what we want to have with our businesses is we want people to find us. It's like, if people can find who you are, they're more likely to buy. You know, we all build websites and we say, oh my gosh, we built it and nobody came. So, you know, video is a great traffic source. That's kind of why I'm so all in on video marketing, because nothing can skyrocket your marketing better than video. And YouTube is quite amazing, because if you, right now, if you say, YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world. It is only number 2 to number 1, which is Google itself. So Google, and remember, Google owns YouTube. So those are the 2 places that people are finding you through video, on a Google search or a YouTube search. And that's why YouTube is awesome. If you want to have eyeballs on your business, you need to get your videos on YouTube. That is where people will find you. And I just wanted to show you, I went through and I was looking at my analytics as I was preparing this, and I realized that, you know, YouTube actually notes down what your analytics are, what your statistics are for YouTube search and Google search. And we have come up as a search result 18,193 times through YouTube, and then Google search 10,939. And you just think about that. That's, you know, 10,000 people that wouldn't necessarily have even ever heard of us. So I think that's really, really exciting about the SEO, because that's just going to lead to new leads, eyeballs on your business. Vimeo, meh. You know, you're really not going to get that kind of search traffic for Vimeo. For the most part, Vimeo is truly going to be targeted, you know, a targeted link. You're using Vimeo for different things. But in terms of search engine optimization, YouTube is it. It's amazing. It's amazing how people will find you on YouTube. Okay. So let's talk about integrations. And I really wish I could have found a better word, but I really couldn't think of one. And you really want to think about, okay, so if video, how does it integrate with other things? So YouTube, you can put a YouTube, embed a YouTube video on your website. And what that means is, say for instance, if you have a blog post, you can put a video in the middle of your blog post, and there you go. It's like people can click it, watch it. They don't go flinging off to YouTube. They stay in your blog post. They stay reading it, which is awesome, because actually another SEO thing is that if people are watching a video on your blog, it's increasing your dwell time. They're staying on your website longer. So that's going to give you a little bit of a boost in the Google search rankings, because dwell time is one of the factors that, you know, affects SEO. So YouTube is really good. You can embed a video right on your website. Same with Vimeo. You can do the same thing. I actually think Vimeo's nicer because you can have a customized player and, you know, do all sorts of different things. YouTube works really well with MailChimp for email campaigns. Like if you're doing a newsletter, you can embed, I think you get our newsletters too, and you can see our little YouTube videos are always part of our email campaigns. And they're also great for landing pages, because if you have a MailChimp landing page, you can have those videos play right on the landing page. Just click the button and they start playing, and they're beautiful. So MailChimp works really, really well with YouTube, and it works really, really well with Vimeo. Those are the 2 ones MailChimp likes. It doesn't like Wistia, it doesn't like Loom, it doesn't like Vidyard, it only likes YouTube, and it likes Vimeo. Now, here is the sort of not so good stuff about YouTube. When you embed a video on anywhere, whether it's website or in, you know, MailChimp campaign or whatever, you're going to have ads. You cannot control the ads. And, you know, basically with Google, you have to always remember, if Google's not selling something, you're the product. You're the product. And, you know, you can't blame them. That's how they make their money. They're making their money from ads. And so they're going to play ads on your video, and you cannot control it. That's just going to happen. And a sad thing too is that when your video is over, so say for instance, you had a video embedded on your blog, when the video's over, it's going to pop up and show all these other videos that it now wants you to watch, because that's what YouTube does. It says, we want you to stay watching videos for the rest of your life. So we're just going to suggest another one, another one, and another one. And it might not necessarily be yours. It could be your competitors. It could be a video about, I don't know, Viagra, something you're like, oh my God, I don't want that on my website. You don't have a choice. So it's going to play other videos. It's going to play ads. And there's nothing you can do. There used to be some things you could tweak with your embed code to turn them off. And then YouTube found out, clamped it, and that's just not something you can do. So I'd have to say in this instance, Vimeo is better because Vimeo is professional. If you want to have like an explainer video on your website, you want to use Vimeo because it's going to be cleaner. There won't be any ads. There won't be any suggestions at the end. It will just end of screen, call to action, something along that lines. So in that respect, I'd have to say Vimeo wins this round. Okay, so let's talk about captions. So anybody that knows me knows that I am really adamant about putting captions, closed captions or open captions on your videos. You need to do this for handicapped people. You need to do this on social media because it's like you're playing a silent movie otherwise. Captions are so important, and it's just the right thing to do, but it also it helps people stop scrolling and watch your video because they know what your video is about. And it's just a really important part of what you need to do for video is adding captions. Now with YouTube, you can upload an SRT file, and that's it escapes me what SRT stands for. It's like subreddit something or other text file. I can't remember. But anyways, there's a really good company called Subly where you can right now still do free subtitles. They actually transcribe your videos and you can kind of clean it up and get an SRT file. So that's why I highly recommend Subly for doing that. Or you can just go to rev.com and just have somebody else do it for you. And it's like $1 a minute or something like that. But anyways, both YouTube and Vimeo allow you to upload an SRT file. But YouTube does something a little extra in that it'll actually automatically transcribe your videos for you. You have to do a heck of a lot more cleanup work than you do with, say, Subly, but it is something that you can do. So if you're using YouTube, you can upload upload that video and then kind of like maybe let it go for a couple of minutes, and then it actually processes it for you, and then you can go in and you can clean it up. So that's kind of a nice thing that YouTube offers that service. Vimeo doesn't. It's either upload the SRT or forget about it. So in that respect, I think YouTube kind of wins because it gives you additional options that you can upload and have the auto transcriptions. So then in terms of customization, both YouTube and Vimeo, if we kind of go back and remember what it looked like when I walked you through both, they both kind of look like a channel, look like your own little channel, and they can have links to social media and your website and different things. YouTube has playlists. Remember, I walked you through and I showed you how you can take a bunch of videos and group them together. And then Vimeo actually does something even better. They have showcases, which is, again, like a playlist, but they even have something called a portfolio where it's almost like, looks like a landing page. So you can have your video with, some links and some titles and, put it in your brand colors, and you can do some really nice stuff. So Vimeo is really good that it does portfolios, and that's a really nice thing. If you say, for instance, say you had something that was like a series of videos that you wanted to put together in a collection, a portfolio would be beautiful. And then you would just send somebody to one particular link, and then they would see all your videos. So it's a really great way if you had customer testimonials, or maybe you had some product videos. If you were a quilter and you wanted to show different shows you've been in, or maybe you had a media page and you wanted to see all the different ways you've been interviewed by the media, portfolios are great. YouTube has some call to action stuff. You can kind of send people to another video and do a little bit of call to actions. Vimeo is much better in that you can actually have call to action buttons and people click on it and will go somewhere. So Vimeo kind of I think, wins this round, in that you can do a lot more. You can have a watch later button on your videos. You can share your videos to social media right from Vimeo. So they do a lot of extra things. So I think Vimeo wins there. So then, okay, we talked in the beginning about what does it cost to, participate. So what do you have to pay for these things? But you can also use video hosting to make money. So how you would make money in YouTube is you would be making money by having the ads that we all hate. So you too can either, have ads on your videos of other people. The only thing is you have to be at 1,000+ subscribers before you can be a part of that. So you have to wait a long time. And as you can see, I only have 163 subscribers. It's going to be a long time before I can do ads. So I have to wait for that. Now with Vimeo, it's totally different because you can actually sell your videos, and they have what's called video on demand, where you can sell videos that people could go ahead and download and buy your videos, or you could just stream them. It's like you can be your own little Netflix. So you can have a video course, could be a single video, several videos, and you could sell it. And this is the part that I think is awesome, is it's VAT compliant, which means value added tax. And if you have customers that are across the world, not just in the United States, you have to think of the tax implications, because we all have to be compliant with this. So if you have somebody, you want to sell your videos, to watch your videos as an online course, and those folks live in the UK, or they live in Italy, or wherever, Israel, which is where I'm calling from today, you have to be able to have this VAT compliant. And the nice thing about Vimeo is you just tell it what countries you want to sell your videos, and it takes care of the taxes for you, and then sends the taxes to the country. So you don't have to worry about anything. You just collect your revenues, and Vimeo does all the work for you. I don't know of any other place that does this. If you've ever had a Thinkific course or a Teachables course, you're responsible to pay the money for the VAT to the English government and the Israeli government. And it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare having to figure that kind of stuff out. So this is actually quite a cool thing that they do that. So I like that about Vimeo. And then additional features, this is kind of a really exciting thing that I actually just learned about YouTube recently, is that you can now do streaming, and you can do streaming using Zoom. So you could be on a Zoom call, just have a Zoom, meeting, and actually now you can actually stream your Zoom calls to Facebook Live, or you can stream to YouTube. And so if I had, I have a standard Zoom account, I have a premium account, but it's just a standard account. And once I cap out at my 100 people, that's it. I can't have any more on the call. So if I wanted to, I could invite as many people as I wanted to come watch it on YouTube. And then I could literally have 1,000 people, 2,000 people. I should be so lucky I would have that many people want to watch me. But it's nice to know you can. And the neat thing about streaming a Zoom call to a Zoom meeting to YouTube is it automatically makes a video recording for you. And you can say, I want it to be unlisted, I want it to be public, I want to schedule it. You can do a lot of different things. So that's kind of a cool thing that they have that. So I really think that's exciting. Vimeo, you need a whole extra plan. It's like a streaming plan. So, in this instance, I think YouTube really has done well. And another thing about YouTube, and this is actually really, really important, you can schedule your publishing. So you can upload, a bunch of YouTubes, say you do batch work and you say, okay, I'm going to upload all my YouTubes for the month on Sunday. You can actually then say, okay, and I want this one to schedule and go out on Wednesday, and this one will go out next Tuesday, and you can schedule it, as far as you want. And this is really important because when people subscribe to your YouTube channel, when you publish a new video, they get an email, and they actually get a really nice email that says, Launch for Life has just uploaded a new, a new YouTube, and they see the picture of it. It's really, really nice. But the thing is that if you were to publish 5 videos in a row, then your subscribers are going to get 5 emails in a row, and they're probably going to unsubscribe because people just don't like getting inundated with, oh my gosh. And I've had that with people where it's like all of a sudden I'll get 10 and I haven't heard from those people in 5 months, and now they got 10 videos. So it's really important to use that publishing schedule if you got a bunch. So I think that's really, really important. And you really do want to tell people to subscribe. That's a really big thing. So drum roll. After all that, we went through 10 different points. Which is the winner? They're both winners. My mom would have said that. Everybody's a winner. But it's actually true, because personally, I use YouTube and I use video, and I use them both all the time. And for storage, hands down, YouTube is the way to go. I love YouTube. It's great. And that's where I store all of my team meetings. That's where I store my client meetings. It's just easy. I can give them a playlist. And a nice thing about putting my clients on an unlisted playlist is I only have to give them one link. And then forever, they'll see all of their videos all in one nice little thing together. For SEO and getting new leads, YouTube by far. I like to embed blog posts because it's just a quick and easy, great way to have some extra dwell time. And you can actually even embed a YouTube inside a LinkedIn article, and it plays within LinkedIn, which is kind of exciting. I like to use it for my email campaigns, for MailChimp, and then of course that streaming using Zoom. I've only tested it out, but I think that's really exciting, and I love that it records it. And then with Vimeo, if you have a webinar, you want to have that replay on a gated page in Vimeo. It's just much more professional. You can then, direct people to your offer afterwards. So if you're going to go all the trouble of doing a webinar and you want people to register, and then afterwards you're going to send them the replay, you want to do that on a gated page, because you know what? No one is ever going to sign up to register for your webinar if they could just go to YouTube and find it. So, you want to have that gated page. I love those video on demand courses. I think they're awesome. I like using Vimeo to embed an explainer video or customer testimonials, really those good quality videos on your website. You want to use Vimeo. I like the portfolio feature. I'm starting to use that. I'm just starting to explore that, but I love that. And then of course, landing pages for MailChimp. That was really important. I recently did a Facebook challenge. Sue, you were in it. We did a Facebook challenge, and it was kind of like a 10-day challenge. And each day we had a different video. Well, I didn't want people to go ahead. So if I put it in YouTube, they could have just gone, oh, I could just go to the next video. Having it on Vimeo, I could lock it down so that only people in MailChimp could see it. They couldn't share it anywhere. So that really worked well. So as a bonus, I just want to let you know, I don't make any money off of this. I actually, if people were interested in Vimeo, I could give you my link. And Sue, I don't even know if you know this, but if you are a Vimeo, if you have a Vimeo account, a premium account, and you give somebody a referral link and they sign up for a Vimeo account, a paid Vimeo account, you get a $50 Amazon card, which I thought was awesome because I love Amazon cards. But this is not something I get paid for, and it actually will save people money. Remember, I told you that Vimeo purchased this program called Magisto. And Magisto is an artificial intelligence creator. It's a video creation tool. And what that means is you could put a bunch of pictures together, and then you could say, oh, I like these special effects, and I like this music, and I want to put a little bit of words, and then it will go and make a little video for you. And it's actually extremely cool. So anyways, if you buy their program, the Magisto program, it's $9.99 a month for an annual program, and then they throw in Vimeo Pro for a year for free.
Wow.
which I think is an awesome deal. So normally, if you were just to go buy Vimeo Pro, which is that's the package I'm on, it's $240 a year. If you do it through Majesto, you only have to pay $119 for the year, and you get Vimeo Pro for free. So now you got 2 programs for even cheaper. So I think that's a screaming deal. So that's it. And the last thing is, if you need any help with video, just want to let everybody know, all I'm pitching today is free stuff. So we have a free consult. If you want any help with video, you have questions about video, for 30 minutes, you can book me for a free call. I'll talk to you and I'll answer your questions. No hype, no strings, just me being nice, talking to people. So if anybody wants any help, do that. If not, go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/launchforlife. And you can see that we have lots and lots of marketing videos that I think will help you because they're just easy peasy. So that's all I have.
Thank you. That was so interesting. And yes, I learned a bunch of things. I have notes written down just to prove it to you. First of all, I just want to see if we have any questions. We do not. Okay. So we're nearing the top of the hour, so I'm just going to say a couple things and then we'll sign off. I use both, but I use Vimeo for the Academy. But I've had the Academy now for almost 2.5 years. And as you were talking, I haven't gone back and looked at any of the upgrades that they have. So I just tend to go on and I hide my videos and they go on the Kartra Academy website, and that's kind of all I do. So it made me realize that, I needed to go back and do that. I did want to ask you one question though, because this is always like important to me, is owning your domain or owning your stuff. So on YouTube, if you do something that's against their terms of service, they can wipe you out, right? That's a downside of YouTube. Is that correct?
Well, with YouTube, pretty much the way that you would get into trouble is truly it's through copyright infringement. Okay. So if you're stealing other people's stuff and you're putting it up, say for instance, I go and I record Jurassic Park and I, use Camtasia and I record that, and then I upload that to YouTube. That's a copyright infringement. So those are the kind of things that you would, and basically YouTube has a policy of 3 strikes, you're out. And every time you go into YouTube, you can go in and you can check and see, sort of go back in and sort of see where you're at. And it's like, if you get 1 strike, they'll say 1 out of 3, like they have it right in your account. And of course, I've never done anything illegal, so I've never had any issues. But I have actually filed a copyright infringement case, and I won. And YouTube I couldn't believe somebody in YouTube actually helped me. I thought YouTube would be too big and they wouldn't help me, but they did. And that's when I learned that you want to put a watermark on your channel so that really helps if people go and say, use Camtasia and, make a copy of your videos. And then somebody actually, this was the worst thing. They actually copied my video, made their own channel, uploaded my video, and their video was ranking higher than my video. I was so pissed. And so I was absolutely furious, but YouTube made them take it down. So sorry, long-winded answer, but they give you those 3 strikes and you would know. So I don't think it's like one day you're going to come in and say, oh, I'm in YouTube jail. You know, and they're very, very responsive of sending you anything. I remember once I even had YouTube challenged me on some music of my video, and it was because I had done it through Powtoons, and it was royalty-free music, but their search engines flagged it, and I had to prove that I had an agency license through Powtoons and I could use the music, and then they said, okay, fine. So I found them actually to be very reasonable. And you can download a video. Other people can't do that. But anything you upload to YouTube, you can go back in and download. So that way, if you ever lose a video, like a team meeting or something,
Right.
you have it.
Okay. So my daughter's a YouTube content creator. She gets flagged for copyright infringement all the time on her music. And I don't know what program she has, but whatever it is, she pays a monthly fee, and then they fight the copyright restrictions for her. So
Wow.
it is very common for her to have a video flagged, and she's not doing it illegally. They just, I guess it's bots that do it. And
Yep.
what else? And then the analytics was really interesting to me too. That's something that, again, I don't pay a lot of attention to. So lots of great information, lots to think about. And I think you're correct that they have different, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. And I think that is really an awesome thing for people to know. So we're at the top of the hour. So I want to thank you, Gillian, as always. That was really, really interesting. And I invite people to go to launchforlife.com. Your email address is jillian@launchforlife.com if they want to reach you directly, but I know you check your email all the time. You have an excellent newsletter. And so, yes, you're a great resource for people. And as usual, I appreciate you being here. So thank you, Jillian. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.